Okay, so you've got your income here at 12,144. You're having about 759 in credit card debt, and your home's value is 550. Debt payments on everything besides the home is 1505. Everything together is 6105. Then you have your living expenses at 4657, which means your total expenses every month is 10,762. If we do your income at 12,144, and then we show your 10,762 in total expenses, that looks a lot better than what your worksheet was showing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to take off the 12,144. So you have 1382. That's actually cash flow. Okay, does all that make sense so far?
To me, it does.
Yes.
This is your cash flow.
Okay.
All right. Now, with your 20,000 that you're talking about using for beginning this debt elimination, because you have a good cash flow, you could do something such as knock this balance down to where this credit card payment cuts out about $500. So that would add. You could pay off the student loan, which is not going to give you too much of a cash flow there. You could start working on the car, or the truck, which is going to bring you $600 a month. So when I am looking at how we're going to rearrange debt, that's what I'm looking for, is what's going to gain us the most cash flow.
Yeah.
With the 1382, if you figured that, say for a 6-month period, 1382 times 6, that's 8292. So you would be able to actually knock off $8,292 in debt every 6 months, okay?
Okay.
So when I figure this, it gives me an idea of what you would want to start with here.
Okay.
To gain the most cash flow for that 6 months. So if you took 8292 and put it into, say, your credit card here, one, that's going to eliminate a lot of interest. It's going to cut this payment down for you so you gain some cash flow. It's also going to pay off in less than 6 months because you're going to have the additional cash flow. Now, does that make sense?
Yes.
What I would start with.
When you say the line of credit or put the income, are you suggesting that she put 12,144 straight into the credit card and it'll act as a payment?
No, not the credit card. Into the line, because the line can be reused.
Yes.
Okay, so income goes in. So if I were in your situation, this is what I would do.
Okay.
I would take 15,000, the first chunk of your debt. You decide where you're going to put that. So if you took 15,000 and you put into this 31,585, you're going to wipe that down.
From the line of credit.
This is your PLOC, yes, right here.
Okay, I need her to know that. She needs
Okay.
Okay.
So the PLOC transfers into this $15,000. You're wiping this down over half, right at half. Then this 15,000 is going to take your income. So any money you get on any day goes right back into this. Now, does that make sense?
You understand that?
I do.
This is going to go back down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when your income goes in your month one, throughout the month, your expenses are going to start coming back up. So you'll buy your food, you'll buy your gas, you'll pay your car insurance, you'll pay your house payment. Everything comes right back out of this fund, okay? So let's say that you just knock off $300. So now this is a $300 payment. When you pay your credit card debt, which was at $759, it's going to now be $459. So that's going to reduce your overall debt payments here. So 6105 minus 759 plus 459, which would be your new approximate payment on your credit card. So 5805 is now your expenses on your debt payment. So we'd add in 5805. Remember, this is as it comes in. It's not just one big smack. Whenever your house payments due, you pay it. Whenever your car payments due, you pay it. So it's sporadic throughout the month. So this is your debt payments.
So do we use a credit card to make those expense payments? Groceries?
Now groceries and stuff, yes, we're getting ready to add your living expenses, which is $46.57. So this is your living.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to add that back in. So plus $28.56, $58.05, $46.57. So you're at $13,318 now. Okay, so what happens here? You're going into month 2. We got to figure your interest. Do you know what the interest rate is? I didn't look at it on the PLOC.
17.
We can just say 18. It doesn't matter. That's what an idea.
17.24.
Okay. So if we have your average, so the bank does an average daily balance. They don't do the high of 15. But I'm going to take the high of 15 right now just to show you how quickly this will work right back down, okay? So 15,000 times 18% divided by 12, so 225. It's going to be more like $50, but I'll just put it on here for fun. So we're going to do 225 plus 13,318. So you're at 13,543. All right. Now, this is everything. This is all of your expenses are out. All of your interest is out. This is what your next statement is going to probably look like. They're going to say, okay, you owe $13,543. You're going to go in and do your $12,144 again throughout month 2. So your income goes in, $12,144. So you're at $13,099 basically. This is your actual payoff. In the next month, you're going to pay this off. So in 3 months, you wiped out $15,000 in debt. Now you're ready to make another chunk onto something else. Now, does that make sense so far?
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
She said
okay.
Yes.
Okay, so right here, you're going to make another decision. This is where I would start.
Yep.
In your next, when this is done, so in month 2 or 3, if you want to chunk some more, totally up to you how you do your chunking. That's really not going to make a difference. What's going to make the difference is if you decide to go ahead and chunk the 15, you're knocking this 300 out, you're gaining some more cash flow, you're working faster next time. So it's constantly, working down debt, pulling more debt in, working it down, pulling more debt in to where you are at a payoff. The software is just going to help you to know how to hit that home quickly, which you must do that. You're throwing away money right now. You're throwing away a lot of money right now.
So what I'm concerned about is she's under the impression that she has to hold back $4,600 from the income and not put it into the line of credit because she says, I can't pay the mortgage from the line of credit. When in reality, you can, if I'm understanding correctly.
So is the PLOC linked to your checking account?
Yes.
Then
bank, then so we have one with CQ, our mortgages with Navy.
Okay. So let's talk about that because that's not a link.
That's not okay. Let's listen to what she's saying.
Okay, that's not a link. A link is when you have it with the same bank.
Okay.
So if I have, like my bank, I have my checking, and then I have my HELOC, and I have a PLOC, and I have a credit card. So this is a link. Right now, the only link that I have open is my HELOC. So I keep this at a 0 balance. Checking is always, savings is always at a 0 balance because I'm putting my money to work. My savings is in my infinite policies. So I don't keep it in the bank. When you have your house payment, say $4,600, comes in to be paid here, it will automatically pull from the HELOC, bringing this back down to a zero balance and putting the $4,600 here in your HELOC or your PLOC. Okay, so you're using your checking account only. It's just revolving out of whatever account is linked. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a link. If it's in another bank, then it's not pulling automatically from your checking. You're going to have to make manual, because if you've got a bank here and this is where your PLOC is, then when you know the house payment's getting ready to come into your checking, then you're going to have to, a day or two or three before, initiate that this PLOC pays into your checking to catch that house payment.
Is that how we should do it, or change the bank that the deposits are going into?
I would personally change the bank. That is totally your decision. It just makes it easier.
No, what I mean, what she's saying is pay the mortgage from the account that is connected to the PLOC.
Yeah.
I get that, but I would still have to do it a few days beforehand because it takes a couple days to go. I transfer all the time between the two. It's not instant because it's not at the same bank, so it takes a couple days.
So she's recommending what? What are you recommending that we do?
Exactly what she said. If she's going to keep that account separate from your checking account. If you open up a checking account where the PLOC is, you may be able to get the link. You could ask the bank that before you decided to pick up a checking account over there. But you need to, if you just ask them, say, if I get a checking account with you, can I link that PLOC to the checking account so it serves as an overdraft? And they'll say yes or no. Remember, bankers know nothing. And I don't say that demeaning. They know nothing when it comes to their products. You have to get the products and use them as you know to use them. They are trained to do their job. And if they're a mortgage broker or if they're a loan officer, they're trained to do loans. They're not trained to do lines of credit and know what the lines of credit do. So a lot of people, if you walk into a bank and ask for a line of credit, they're going to look like deer in headlights. And they're going to be like, okay, you mean a loan? Why would you get a line? A loan has such a lower interest rate. But a loan is not revolving, so we can't do this where we're going to be going in and out of it. I go in and out of mine every day. I did it right before we got on here. I had to go into my bank. I look every day to see if there's money sitting in my checking. I transfer it into my line of credit. Another huge thing, that if you had a good credit score and you had value in your home, I would make the suggestion that you get out of that mortgage and into something that is going to help you, because I hate to see you throw out probably about $4,000 a month you're just throwing away right now.
Mm-hmm.
So keep your mind and eye on that. If you didn't have debt to work off, or if you wanted to skip the debt and move straight to that home, I would be making suggestions. That's where you're going to gain your most wealth, is to put $10,000 or $20,000 every year at least into that home loan, because that's going to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wonderful.
Probably if you did one chunk into that mortgage instead of doing anything on your debt, the difference would be about 5 years.
I bet.
For a $10,000 chunk, I would say you would save at least, I can tell you what you would save.
And if I'm hearing you correctly, we should be out of debt very fast anyway, so we'd be able to do it here.
Yes.
In short order.
Let me just give you an idea of how much that would cut off doing a $10,000 chunk.
Do you understand what she's talking about totally? If we go back and play this video, you'll understand. Okay. It's going to accelerate.
Okay, so if you were to do a $10,000, how long have you been in the mortgage?
A year.
Okay, if you were to do a $10,000 chunk today, but let's just say I'll bring you at 544 and show you what the difference would be if you made a $10,000 chunk right now onto this principal. All right, so that's going to take you to 8/1/27, and it's going to save you $77,776 in interest. One $10,000 chunk that you're going to be able to work down within your first 3 months having the line of credit is going to save you that much money, and it's going to knock years off of your mortgage. So whatever he gave you for a payoff, do that $10,000 chunk and watch and see how that software rearranges what just happened.
Yeah, because you can undo it after you put it in there. You can just see what it
You
looks
could
like.
even go in and play with your numbers, I believe, or call them up for a coaching call and say, hey, I'm going to put $10,000 onto my home loan principal. What's that going to do for me? And you watch what that does for you.
So there's light at the end of the tunnel if we just play this correctly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a huge light, especially your mortgage. Your mortgage is easy. If you decided today, hey, we're going to focus on doing our first few chunks into the mortgage, you're going to cut years off, because the mortgage interest is at about 150%. So these payments that you're making right now are not touching your balance on your home. It's increasing it right now. So the more that you go in and touch the actual principal with some funds, the faster you're going to get out of the mortgage. And when you've got the software rearranging it for you as you do it and telling you where to put payments, that's just going to escalate your payoff.
But we're going to erase some debt here first, some credit card debt and vehicles and stuff. Yeah.
It's something to think about, because you're in such a predicament with that home that's where you're going to save your wealth.
We appreciate your help. And are you going to send us that video that we can go back and revisit?
Yes, I'll have to download it and upload it, so it'll take me a minute. If I forget, if you don't get it, just send me an email and say I forgot it, and I'll send it to you. But yeah, it's got to download, so I get busy doing other things. But just remind me.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you. You all have a good weekend, and let me know if you have any questions.
Will do.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.